Actor's Choice, where the actors have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting through actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi everybody, I'm Ron Brewington and welcome to the Actor's Choice. Today we've got two very special guests in the studio. He's an actor, a hit playwright, a director, and a producer. She's an actress, songwriter, and is the final lead singer for the world-renowned The Supremes. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Don B. Welch and Sherri Payne. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you guys here. Don, we'll start with you. Tell us where you came from, sir.
I'm originally from Philadelphia, which I still call home. I mean, I love L.A., but Philadelphia will always be home.
All right, you got those good steak sandwiches.
Hey, listen, I wish I had one now.
Sir, bring me a steak sandwich. Did you ever think that you would ever end up being in show business when you were younger?
Actually, I did. From a kid, I knew that I was going to be in this industry. I didn't know exactly what, because I used to sing and I used to dance around. I always want to, be writing and things. But I thought that I was just going to be a recording artist. Mm-hmm. And so I did a lot of, as a kid, a lot of singing, piano lessons, voice lessons. So I knew, but I didn't know exactly which avenue I was going to be in. Until much later. But yeah, I did know. I knew something.
Better than nothing.
Right, exactly.
But there was an aha moment in time. A guy by the name of Adam Wade. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about that?
Actually, I only knew of Adam Wade as he was the first black game show host.
Yes, he was.
On CBS, the show was called Musical Chairs. Mm-hmm. And I knew him from there. My mom said, he was a recording artist, had some hit records in the 60s, one record was called Ruby or something. Mm-hmm. I didn't know any of that stuff, but he was casting for an off-Broadway show called Miss Lizzie's Royal Cafe, and I was cast in the play. And that was 86, 87. And I remember one night being on stage and watching the audience and the people, and I said to myself, Adam wrote and direct and produce this. I can do this. Mm-hmm. And so I wrote my first play. And it was really because I saw that he was doing everything that I wanted to do. He was singing, he was acting, he was writing, he was directing, he was producing. And I said, I can do this. And so I wrote my very first play, which premiered in 1988.
Called?
Take It to the Lord or Else, and it starred LaWanda Page.
Oh no!
Actually, yeah, we did a small dinner theater in Philadelphia. Uh-huh. So in '90, I got in contact with her people and flew her to Los Angeles. We did a really huge theater, and she starred in Take It to the Lord or Else. That was the very first one.
Wow. When you say LaWanda Page, that takes you back to the Red Fox.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And other shows.
We were very close. I was. As a matter of fact, when I moved to LA, I lived with her for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, I lived with her for a while.
Okay. So that was my next question. Since you wanted to be in entertainment, you wanted to come to the West Coast.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, that happened because of Will Smith. Will said, Don, whenever you're ready to move to L.A. and get more into television and film, I will be here to help. And he was. So I decided to move here in 2000. I've been here 15 years. And he has been with me in terms of just that support for 15 years.
When you say Will Smith, you cannot help but think about what happened last week when the Academy Award nominations came out. Any thoughts on that?
Well, the thing is this. I understand the feelings of everybody who is saying, listen, it's totally wrong. But it's not just African American. It's Asian. It's Hispanic. Shut out. Right. I am for the actors and directors who are saying, listen, I'm not supporting this year, but we've also got to stop depending on outsiders to validate what we do.
True.
And so I know the highest award is the Oscar, people say. So therefore, yes, I would normally say I don't care. But the reason why I do care is because the African American community spends more dollars in the entertainment industry as far as going to the movies, television, stage plays. So yes, we have a say-so and a stake in it, and we've got to be able to get our say in this. So to have not one African American,
second year in a row,
not one African American nomination at all, And the one nomination that we got for NWA was a Caucasian writer who wrote the screenplay. So what are you trying to tell me? But yet, but let's look at the movie sales, the ticket stubs. So yes, we need to, it's a big thing, and I think people, the voices have to be heard.
Yes. I know Jada Pinkett said that she would talk about a boycott possibly.
Well, she didn't say boycott, but she released a video this morning, and she did say that. Now I don't people. She's not going to hold a sign, but she did say, "I am not going to attend, and I am not going to watch." And she did. Her whole thing was, we've got to stop feeling like we have to be invited to the party. Why can't we just create our own? That's why the NAACP Image Awards are very important, and should not be downplayed, because it is an award that was set up for, because the reason why we weren't getting it acknowledged. I mean, it's really sick. But the Emmys for years was like that.
Oh yeah,
for years the Emmys was like that.
I used to be an entertainment reporter, and I'd always go to the Emmys, and I'd get sick because I would never see any African Americans getting it.
Very rare, very rare.
And we were deserving of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we weren't qualified.
Right.
And as I believe, I forget the actress who said, "Don't give me the award just because I'm black."
Exactly.
Right.
I earned it.
Listen, and the thing is, when you start talking about the Oscars, whether it's Denzel, whether it was Halle Berry, whether it was even Whoopi Goldberg, look at the roles that they won for. You're going to give an award to Denzel Washington for Training Day, which I enjoyed Training Day, but you're going to skip over Hurricane and skip over Malcolm X. You're going to give the award to Whoopi Goldberg for Ghost, where she played a ghost, a spirit, but not for Color Purple.
Yes.
So there's a lot of that. Then the Best Picture last year, 12 Years of a Slave. I'm not saying that these things did not warrant to be won. And then there was the chick from The Help, Maid, and the girl that won Best Supporting Actress, the actress. I'm not taking anything away from them getting the awards, but why are we just getting the nominations? I'm not the winnings for that. And Precious.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Now, I mean, I get it, but these are where you're giving the awards to. So. That's another hour. And we're not here to talk about the Oscars. That's another hour.
Okay. Moving right along. Don B., what was your first acting job?
My first, what do you mean, professional, like?
Yes.
Where you got paid.
Yes.
Where I got paid, well, now I got paid for some little community things, but as far as something that went all over the world, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I was an actor on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and Will called and said, "Listen, I have a role for you." So he flew me out to Los Angeles in 1996 or 7. It was the last year of the show.
Right.
And it was 30 inches of snow in Philadelphia, and the airport was closed down. And I was devastated. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to get to, but the day that I was supposed to fly out, one runway opened, flew to Los Angeles, landed, it was 82 degrees and sunny. The car picked me up, took me to NBC Studios in Burbank. I walked in, I heard my name, Don Welch, please come to Studio B. I'm like, what? How did they know I was here? I go in Studio B, Will and the entire cast is on stage. He hands me a script and says, "Plane to page 52, let's go." And I'm like,
What?
because I thought maybe it would be one word, but I actually had the co-starring role. And he tells people today, if you ever run into Will Smith, say, "Hey Will, how did Don do on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?" He's going to say, "Man, it took him 35 takes to get 5 lines," which it wasn't that many takes. But he clowns me. I said, it was my first time. But that was my first job. That was my first professional job.
35 takes.
35 takes. But every time he tells a story, he goes up another one.
Oh, he puts another 5.
Right. I was on the set of Men in Black, and, and the director was sitting next to me. He said, "Hey, you're Don Welch." I said, "Yeah, you know me?" He said, "Yeah." And I'm thinking, he says, "Yeah, because Will said you took about 30 takes to do The Fresh Prince." And Will standing across, looking at me like this. So he tells a story and says it took to this day he still tells the story.
Well, it was so beautiful that as a producer and a director, that you have been in an actor's shoes.
Yeah, I love acting.
Yes.
I love acting, and I love writing and directing and producing.
Yes.
But I will eventually get back to doing some of that.
Okay.
Because I'm a really good actor.
If I
must say so.
Myself, right?
I should have, right. But the gratification that I get from just writing and directing and producing and watching other actors, like I don't get in my own work. It's too much to put myself in the work on stage or on film, and then running and directing it, and No, and also it's about giving another actor an opportunity.
Yes, it does.
You know what I mean? To give them the why. I mean, listen, I'm secure enough. I don't have to write, direct, produce, and act, and
Do it all.
I can. But why take a job from somebody else if you're trying to help?
Yeah, that's true.
What play was that I came to see and you sang and you acted in?
I had to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to because one of my actors, I think it was a death, and it was the day before I said, what am I going to do? And I had to jump into the role and do it. Yeah, I did do that. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know Don sang until then.
Yeah.
Don is an excellent singer.
I opened for Gladys Knight, the OJ, Gladys and the Pips, the OJ, Stephanie Mills. I go back.
Donald.
I ain't gonna tell you what year. And I even have a video. I gotta show you, Sherri. I have a video of the barge opening for me.
What?
Yes.
Oh, man, this is history.
Yeah, it is. 'Cause
It is history.
I'm not gonna tell you what to Google. 'Cause you might find too much stuff. You might find too much stuff.
Goodness. One of the things, and we talk about this every time we talk about actors, that A word, audition. What's your thoughts about that?
Well, auditions are important. I think one of the problems is a lot of actors come to LA from different cities and they say, I can do that, or they sit home and they watch BET or they watch VH1 or they see the red carpet and their minds are on becoming stars and becoming,
And we know what stars are.
Right. Right. Stars spelled backwards is what? Rats. So here we go. But in any event, audition is important, I think, but there's a technique to it. I tell actors all the time, you have to be prepared. Just don't walk up in there because you was on the front page of your hometown newspaper saying you were great.
Right.
Know that when you come out here, there's a million people in line doing the same thing you do
Right.
and
Yes.
want the same job.
That's right.
Yes. How many
Right.
plays have you produced since you started here in LA?
Well, I've written 30.
Okay.
And I think since I've been in Los Angeles, I probably have produced 20, 23, 24.
What was your favorite one?
I don't even know if that's an unfair question because you know what happens? They all become, now I have some I don't like as much as I like the other.
Gotcha.
But I think what happens is they are like your kids.
Right.
And you don't want to choose between your kids. But there are some particular ones that I like better. Like you can't put me in a bag. Like meaning I don't write the same thing. If you were to see all 30 of my productions, you would never say, "Oh, that was like the one he just did before."
They're all different.
No, they're all different.
Right. But there is a signature in Don Belo.
Absolutely.
What is that?
Well, I end every play with one word: hope. No matter if we're talking about a gospel, comedy, musical, drama, family. Even I've had some adult themed productions because I deal with life. The key word for me is hope, and also somewhere in there we have to deal with faith, which is very important to me. Very important to me.
I understand you're very strong about faith.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, you wouldn't know it sometimes the way I talk to my actors, because I will say some things, but.
You're doing it for their good.
And not only that, I always say to my actors who say, "Did you just say that?" I'm like, "Show me in the Bible where that word is and I'll never use it again." And they're like, "Okay." So, but faith to me, because it amazes me that there are actually people who walk the earth who don't believe in anything. Who don't,
Amazing.
because I have been in situations in my life where I know the reason why I made it through was because there was a higher power and that my faith was so strong. If you don't agree with that as a person, I'm not going to hit you over the head with it because I don't know where you are on the ladder of your faith, but I know where I am, and I know my purpose, and I know what I'm supposed to do, and that's the difference. That's the difference.
You see this little pen I wear? I wear this for a reason, because I'm a double prostate cancer survivor.
That's wonderful.
By the grace of God,
Absolutely.
I'm still here. You gotta have.
And you know how many
something.
folks that would come through that and say, "Oh my God, I was so lucky." That's not luck.
No,
That's not luck. That's not luck.
Because God put us here for a reason.
Absolutely.
Every one of us, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. So when you get into these plays, you like musicals, you like drama. What kind of plays you like?
I like like I put myself in a position where I watch people and I listen to what you have to say.
Yes.
And oftentimes I get storylines and topics just from people. I'm a people watcher. You know, and I think that when it comes to, I used to have a problem when I would travel the country and they would do articles on me and they would say, black playwright or black writer. I was like, why can't I just be a writer? And then I thought, it's okay. You know why it's okay? Because a lot of times they don't put the photo of the person they're interviewing. So if I have an African-American child, male or female, who's reading that and seeing what I can make that, they can do it too. Call me that. That I am a black playwright, I'm a black, whatever you want to say in terms of that, I will accept that. I will accept that.
All right. Because for you as a director and a producer, the first night is always a very special night.
Yeah. It's the day that the craziness comes out. You know, because you're hoping that, because if it says Don B. Welch Productions presents, or written and directed by Don B. Welch, everything falls to you. Right. Whether the person at the counter is being nasty to the patrons, or the bathrooms in the theater are not clean. Right. All of that, all of a sudden, becomes your fault. You know, you don't own the theater. So you have to take care of all that stuff, or have people that will help you do it. To make sure. But after opening night, I breathe. Okay. Yeah, I breathe very easy.
2 words, black theater, what does that mean to you?
Life. Needed. Important. It will be forever. I don't care how many TV shows or film that I'm involved with, I will never leave theater, because theater is the truth and the life. It's just pure life. You cannot say, hey, can you stop that? Can we run that back? No, you gotta go. You gotta go. And the intimacy of having a theater and having people sit there and watch your words come alive and feel. I've seen people actually, you know, tear up, or when they laugh about something. You can't beat that feeling. That's something you don't get in television and film. You just don't get. You don't get it.
Over the years, Don, you have to be complimented for the talent that I'm just going to throw a few names. Loretta Devine, Vanessa Bell Calloway, Judy Pace, Ben Whitfield, Sherri Payne, other people that you've done over the years.
Marla Gibbs,
Kenny
Lattimore,
Don Lewis,
Darius McCrary, Melinda Williams, Essence Atkins, Frida Payne, Eric Benet, Oba Babatunde.
And he can dance, can't he?
Yes. Gosh, I mean, Ernest Thomas.
Yes.
Kelly Price, Lettucey. All of them have worked for me and with me. I like to say work with me. I had to pay them. I would say work. Well, I say work for me because I had to pay them, but work with me. I mean, and it just, and more than one time.
Yes.
Have come back.
They love you.
And Jack Kay.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Jesus, so many. Mary Wilson, Michael Collier. There's so many folks. The blessing of that.
Yes.
You know, when people say, "Oh yes, I worked with him, and I would come back and work with him again." That's a wonderful feeling.
But good writing makes the play. Where do you get the ideas for your plays?
Just really life, and I have a crazy imagination. I will sit up and think. I wrote a new play, which is not something I was telling Sherri. I said, Sherri, might be one you want to pass on. It deals with more of today, the young people. It's called The Misfits, and it's raw. It's nothing thrown in there to shock, but it's raw because it needs to be told, and we need to be able to have this story and this topic. So I won't get too much into that, but yeah, it's
real.
It's real. The Misfits.
But as you know,
nobody under the age of 18 can come in.
But as you know, we go to plays and movies for escapism to get away from. But in your hand, you're able to bring reality into our faces.
I hope so. I hope I'm doing that. I really do hope that I'm doing that. That's been the goal. That's what I've always strived to do. So I hope that's happening.
But this is show business.
Yes.
Show and business.
And we know the business is a bigger word. You better have that together, because woo.
What kind of training do you recommend for an actor? I want to get into the business. I want to be an actor.
Well, I think that here's the funny thing. I have actors say, I'm a natural. Okay, well, that's fine. You can be a natural, but take some classes, read some books.
Right.
Study who you like. If you're a fan of Denzel or Will or Al Pacino, study what these men did to get where they are, or Angela Bassett or Loretta Devine or whoever. Study, but take a class.
Yes.
Get the fundamentals down.
Yes.
So they can only enhance your naturalism. Is that a word? I
Naturalism,
taught in school at one time. Is naturalism a word?
Yeah, I think so.
My goodness.
Yeah. It was,
Man of many talents.
I taught English, and you wouldn't know the way I break verbs, but yes.
You taught English?
I taught English, and I can break a verb like this. You'd be like, where'd you go to school?
Back in those days, we used to use diagrams. They don't do that no more, do they?
No, and not only that, I taught adults English in the nationality school in the evenings, where in my class it was Japanese, French. I said, listen, I don't know any of that. We're learning English today. Get it out. I don't want to know. They said, but I don't want to know what you're talking about. You're here to, so they, of course, they kept me for a couple of years. But we had fun. But they learned. They learned.
But is there a limit to Don B. Welch? Is there a limit?
In terms of what?
What you do, what you won't do?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me say this. I was just recently offered a reality show of my own.
Okay.
The last 2 years.
Okay.
And I turned it down because I don't like the way a lot of those shows go. Mm-hmm. And even though I would own my show, what I would not own is how you edit it. And I'm a loose cannon. I will say something, and I have a family, I have a mother, I have a family. So, and let me say this, the last time they came back, the money was ridiculous. And I thought,
oh, what have I done?
But you know what? You have to be able to lay your head down at night and be comfortable with that. So the answer was no. And I think they were a little bit taken back, like, you're really saying no to this amount?
Right.
It's not that I don't need it. I need it. Yeah. But sometimes you have to, the integrity and how you see yourself and how you're able to be depicted is what I'm concerned with. I'm not going to do anything just for $1. My limit is that. I'm not going to do that. Right. And plus, I'm not going to do anything that my mother, who I'm blessed to still have, would say, why would you do that? I'm not doing it. Not for $1. And I'm broke. Broke as a three-legged table.
You've been dubbed as a Hollywood Tyler Perry.
Yeah, let's stop that right there. Let me tell you why we're gonna stop that. I tell people I'm not. They say, "Oh, you're the next Tyler." No, I'm the first Don B. Welch.
That's right.
And I don't. Tyler Perry does great for what he does. And he has a following, and there's an audience. It's just not my audience per se, or what I do. Be very. I remember. I won't say the magazine. Very, 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 very popular magazine. Did an interview. Asked me to do an interview with them a couple of years ago. Right. And they were interviewing Tyler Perry, myself, and I think David Talbert.
David E. Talbert. Yes.
And they kept trying. The writer kept trying to get me to say negative things about my feelings from what, and I said, listen, I'm not doing that. I write what I write, I direct what I direct. If you don't like what I write, you don't have to come to the show. If you don't like what he's doing something right. Somebody watching him. It's just not my style.
But you're a rare breed of cat because the media is powerful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Which is why I turned down the show, because I just think, see, when you do something on film, it doesn't go away just because it's not on TV anymore.
That's right.
I can't have that out.
Can't take it back.
And I'll say it again, I'm a loose cannon.
Okay, LC.
I'll say some things, and they would love it. I just finished doing 2 shows. I can't say what they are yet because they don't air. Right. That are, you would think they're sort of like, well, I can say what the show is. I just can't say who they were for. I guess I can say what the show is.
Yeah.
Like the Unsung Hollywoods.
Okay.
That's different because I'm allowed to give my opinion on the artist or whatever. And let me say this. I said some crazy stuff. They loved it. I said, oh, you're going to keep that in there. But I knew also I was not saying anything that would be embarrassing. But they even said, oh, that makes good TV. So imagine me being in my in my environment of writing, directing, and rehearsals, I say anything, and they're filming that, they're going to show that, and that's going to be shown all over America, and I don't want that. I don't want that.
Do you want to go to Broadway?
Yes, I would love to have a play on Broadway. I know eventually one day I will. It has to be the right production, because we know when it comes to African American plays, oftentimes if it's not just a musical, they won't put it on Broadway.
Right.
Recently, there have been short stints of different plays that were not. I think that Kenny Leon's been taking, putting on Broadway. Yes, that's the ultimate. That is the ultimate to have. I've toured the country, but that is the ultimate to have a Broadway show. Absolutely.
Got to ask you this question, so I understand that you are currently reading America's Mistress: The Life and Times of Eartha Kitt.
Yes.
Are you thinking about a one-woman show on that one?
No, I know someone who's doing that.
Okay.
I've always been intrigued by her life and old Black Hollywood. When I mean the vintage, and the only books that were written on her before, she wrote them all. But I wanted to read another perspective.
Okay.
And this is another perspective of her life. Some things that I said, oh, she didn't tell us that. I'm not saying it's all true, but I love reading about that. You know, Sammy Davis, I just read a new one by him. I love reading about, my favorite writer is Donald Bogle, who is the premier writer on Black Hollywood. Okay. And he has written the Dorothy Dandridge story, the Ethel Waters book. He wrote a book called Mulattoes, Coons, and all talking about how we were depicted on television. All of the books that deal with African American film and television, he has written. Prime Time. And so he's a great writer. And he's out of Philadelphia also.
Oh,
Yeah.
I could check him out.
You're watching The Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington, with two very special guests, Don B. Welch and Sherri Payne. Sherri, tell us where you came from.
I came from the Big D, that's Detroit, Michigan.
Michigan, a.k.a. Motown.
That's right.
Did you ever think that you would end up in show business?
No, not really. When I graduated from high school, I went to Michigan State, first as a pre-med student, then I switched over to medical technology. But as a child, I used to sing. I loved to sing. I loved to perform. And then around the age of 10 years old, I think the roles reversed between my sister and me. And because before Frida was the introvert, I was the extrovert. As a little child, Frida can even tell you that I would, so I'm told, because I can't remember, of course, like 4 or 5, 6, 7 years old, if my mother had friends over, I would stand in the middle of the room and I would just start singing. And then when I would finish the song, my godmother told me, she said, I would ask, do you want to hear it again? And before they could even respond, I'd just start singing again. But now with Frida, she was so shy, she wouldn't even sing in front of her mother. She would make Mama leave the room, or else she would go behind a curtain and then sing. And I guess she thought, at that time, I guess because I was the younger one, it was always, watch over the baby, take care of the baby. Frida didn't think she was loved because I got all the attention. And so she didn't feel really good about herself. And then one day, Ruth Johnson, who was our piano teacher, because our mother had a study piano for 7.5 years, but Ruth Johnson took Frida aside. She said, Frida, I want you to try singing this song, and I want you to do it on the recital. Maybe. And so she played the song and Frida sang. She said, oh, Frida, you have a lovely voice. And then that's when Frida started to feel better about herself. She said, I can sing. Wow, I never knew I could sing. And so around the ages of 10 and 12, of course, Frida was developing then. By the time she was 12, she was the same size she is now.
She's beautiful. She is beautiful.
Yes, she is. And I was always little, petite. I was like the shortest one in the room. You know how they have you line up according to height when you go into a grade school class in the beginning? I was always like number 1 or number 2. But anyway, so I was always like a boyish figure, straight up and down, and Frida was developing to this voluptuous figure. And so I became the shy one. I went into myself, and Frida came out of herself.
Wow.
So I even remember there was a time, I'm really telling the tea now, but Frida used to be destructive. She would take like my dials, tie them to the leg of the piano, and she'd beat the doll or take a scissor and cut. What's wrong with this child? So she had one of her friends who's a psychologist come over, and she took her down in the basement, talked to Frida for a while, came back up. She said, there's nothing wrong with your daughter. She just feels that she's not loved because your baby is getting all the attention. And see, there's just 2 years difference, but our personalities were so different, whereas I am more outgoing. Even people can say today, well, your sister's so, like, is she stuck up or something? I said, no, not at all. I'm the one who's always running my mouth. Frida's always been the more quiet one, but that doesn't mean she doesn't have feelings.
So she gets on stage, right?
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
She
Let
lets
her
it
get
all
on
hang out
stage,
there.
give her a
Yeah.
mic.
Beautiful.
Okay, now.
You started with a singing group called the Glass House when you finally
Yes, I did.
What was that like?
That was with Invictus Records, and actually it was because of my sister, because she had just signed her contract with Invictus, and she had come home from New York where she was living, and she was in the kitchen talking on the telephone to Eddie Holland, who was part of the Holland Dozier Holland songwriting team, and they had just left Motown and formed their own company. And so I knew she was talking to Eddie, so I went in the living room, and I just got on the piano, and I started playing as loudly as I could this song I had written and singing, and so then Edward called me to the phone and said, "Oh, what was that you were just playing?" I said, "Oh, it was just a little tune that I wrote. I have more." so he said, "Would you like to audition for our company, our new company?" I said, "Well, I don't care." So they sent a car around, and they took me over to Lamont Dozier's house. And I remember it was Edward, Brian Holland, his brother, Jeffrey Bowen, Ron Dunbar, one of the other writers, and of course Lamont. And I played and sang about 4 or 5 of my songs, and then I went down to their office the next day, and I signed a contract. But they didn't need another lead singer because they already had Frida, they had Laura Lee, they had just gotten Etna right for the Honeycomb, Eloise Law, so they didn't need another lead singer. So they said, what we're going to do is put you in a group, because I'd never really sung that much. At college I did. I used to sing on campus with this little jazz group. Louis Helfrich was the name of the jazz quartet. So I sang around campus and things like that, and around the city a few places, but not continuously like Frida was doing. That was her career. So anyway, they said they would form this group around me and another guy by the name of Ty Hunter.
Ty Hunter.
Ty Hunter. Ooh, you talk about a singing man. Had the most beautiful tenor voice. But so they formed the group around the two of us, and Gloria Hendry was part of the group for a hot minute. She came in from New York. And Larry Mitchell was the 4th member, and Gloria stayed a while. And I don't know, did she record with us for Crumbs Off the Table? Anyway, we had started having rehearsals and for routine, and Charlie Atkins, who was the son of Moms Mabley, was our choreographer. And so then Edward and Brian and them came to watch us do a rehearsal to see the routine. But he had us like the guys, we were doing turns and they would fall into their arms like we were on Broadway or someplace. And they said, no, that's not the image we want for the Glass House. We wanted them, I don't know what kind of image it was, but anyway, that wasn't it. And so they changed choreographers to Lon Fontaine. And it was then that Gloria decided, I don't think I want to do this. I'm going to go back to New York, and I think that's when she became the Playboy Bunny, and then went into films, acting.
Yes.
It was fantastic. But I forgot the question.
Well,
See, I brought my mouth
you were talking about
so
Glass
much.
House. You stayed with them until 1972.
Yeah, 1972,
Right.
and things weren't going the way we thought. And we had recorded Crumbs Off the Table, which I was a co-writer of, which was a minor hit back there on the East Coast. And then I recorded another song, which was put in the can. And I was sitting in the studio one day with Barney Perkins, who was a co-writer on that song. And it was just the two of us. And I'm just sitting there talking with Barney, and he put on this track. He said, I'm going to play this for you. And I said, oh, I haven't heard this in a long time. And I'm sitting there reminiscing. Then it was almost to the end. I said, wait a minute. That's not me. I didn't do that run like that. He said, no, that's Edna. They had given the song to Edna and the Honeycomb.
Yes.
Because one day Edna tells the story. She said, I came in the studio and you were just leaving. They were playing the song. And she said, girl, that's a bad song. And I said, you like it? You can have it. I know I didn't say that, but Edna likes to say that, so that's okay. But the other members of the Glass House, when they found out it was released on them, they were upset. And I said, well, it's no big deal. I said, who cares? The song was Want Ads.
Want ads.
Want to put it in the
Their
want ads.
first million seller. And I got a copy of it, of my version. I just got it earlier this year. It had been in the can all that time, 40 years ago.
1973, The Supremes.
The Supremes. Yeah. Well, right before that, I was with Carolyn Crawford, and we toured. She got me on with Charo doing backup. So I traveled all over, came out here to California. We were every place with Charo doing backup, but then came home.
The
and I'm
Hoochie
waiting.
Coochie Girl?
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun because Carolyn is crazy, too. And Charo was so nice. And then I got the call from Mary Wilson. And Lamont Dozier had come out to California on business of his own, and he ran into Mary at a party, and she said, well, Gene Terrell was just leaving the Supremes, and they were looking for another lead singer. Could he suggest anyone? So he said, at that time, I was his girlfriend. So he said, he told Mary about me, so she called me up and talked with her, and I sent her some pictures and I think the album of the Glass House, and she called me 2 nights later, and that she had received it and she liked it. Would I come out to California? I said, well, when? She said, well, this was a Thursday night. And she said, Saturday. What? I said, oh, okay. So then I told my mother after I'd hung up, I said, am I crazy? The Supremes? No, I'm too scared. So Mama said, like a mother would do,
yes.
Give you that big pep talk, and blah, 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 blah. I believe in you. You got to believe in yourself. You can do it. So I got on the plane Saturday morning, flew out to L.A. Cindy Birdsong and her husband Charles, he picked me up at the airport, took me right to Mary's, and we started rehearsing. Because I didn't know they had a gig the following Saturday in New Mexico for their state fair. So I had to
get it together.
I had to get it together. I didn't even have a chance to get nervous. There was too much to remember, to learn.
Yeah. But I understand that the Motown, of course, after Diana Ross left, they didn't put as much money and time into that group as they should.
No, they didn't. No, that's what I felt too, and that's why Jean left.
I see.
She felt that they weren't giving the just due for the Supremes. I mean, and she came in and gave them hits, and it just wasn't there.
Well, when you guys started touring, not as the original Supremes, but as the, I won't say the second group, how was the reaction out there in the audience?
Oh, it was fantastic. Well, I remember so many times, especially in the beginning, like that State Fair, when we were coming through the crowd, and I was sort of embarrassed. These people were, yelling, screaming out, and some thought I was Diana. They said, Diana. I said, I'm not Diana.
We all look alike.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, we do. Some people love that, but I was a little intimidated, I guess.
I understand.
But the enthusiasm was just so wonderful. Just wonderful.
So didn't you guys went back in the studios, made some more records, got some more records?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And
Motown by that time had broken up?
You were still on Motown.
No, I was still, we
still
still
on
signed with
Motown?
Motown.
Okay.
Signed with Motown as a
I
Supreme.
think you got 3 or 4 albums on Motown when you were lead singer.
And then when the group dissipated, it was Mary left as a single. We did our last official solo show in London with Susie Green, who was the 8th Supreme, and Mary was to leave the group after that. And then what's going to happen with Suzanne and me? So we had a meeting in Suzanne DePass's office, and so she said, well, we don't need 2 lead singers on Motown, we have enough. And she said, well, how about I put you together as a duo? And we said, well, okay. And then Suzanne came up with the name Partners for the album. And so we started, because we both play, right? So we picked out the songs, did demos, and they selected the songs to go on the album. And that was the beginning. That was Partners. And then after that, it didn't continue. We thought we were going to do a second album.
Yes.
But then 80, they decided not to continue the group, which was a big mistake.
Yes.
I remember after that, Quincy Jones called us to do some backups for the Johnson Brothers. I remember, and it was James Ingram, Suzanne and me, Jim Gilstrap, and this other gentleman who was standing next to me, and his record had just become a hit. And I was so excited to meet him.
Who was?
But he was more excited to meet us. He said, oh, I just love that Partners album by you and Suzanne. I said, well, I love you, blah, blah, blah. He said, but you know what? He said, when I recorded this song, I went to just about every record company in this city, and they turned me down. You know who that was? Luther Vandross.
It's amazing. These are businesses.
Can you imagine the business of show? Yes.
Business of show. Yeah. 1986, you and Gene Terrell and briefly Cindy Birdsong, you guys formed another group called Floss.
Floss, FLOS, former Ladies of the Supremes. This is with Superstar International Records. It was headed by my former partner, Ronnie Phillips, and another gentleman. And they had this idea, the former Ladies of the Supremes. And just the acronym. And so some people would say the Flows, thinking it was after Florence, but it had nothing to do with Florence.
You know, I used to call it the Flows.
You did?
I did, and I didn't think about Florence, but I just was saying, oh, it's the Flows.
The Flows.
I'm glad, because when he said Flows, I was like, I was going to say, it's Flows. So I'm glad I didn't say anything, because then you said, because I thought when you didn't correct him, I'm thinking, well, it is the Flows, because I had been saying the Flows for years, not even thinking about Florence Ballard, just thinking FLOS, Flows.
Yeah, Flows.
And when Ron said, I was going to say, excuse me, it's the Flows. That's the Flows. I'm so glad I didn't say anything. So because when you said it, I'm like, oh, that is
Former
the
ladies of the Supremes, because their attorney said we could legally say that, because on our contracts, Linda's and mine, it did say, I guess Jean's too, we could not say the Supremes, but we could say we were formerly of the Supremes. It was former ladies of the Supremes. So initially it was Cindy and Jean and myself. And Cindy stayed about 4 months, I think, and then she decided that she wanted to go into her evangelizing on a full-time basis. So she left, and Susay was living in England then, and so there was Linda Lawrence, who had replaced Cindy in the group.
Yes.
So we formed the group, and we did, actually, wait a minute, Cindy was still with us, and we were supposed to do the show in Colorado, I think Denver. Yeah, the Originals were on the show. I'm trying to think who else. Kelly Patterson, who's still a dear friend of mine to this day.
Dude, that one hit song, don't.
Yeah, if it don't fit, don't force it.
Don't fit, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was,
That was a good one.
Yeah,
To this day, everybody says, hey, if it don't fit,
don't force it. That's right. That's right.
All right, let's talk some dirt.
Oh, no.
Did she have an affair with Johnny Carson? Because they dated for a minute. Yeah, that's what I remember hearing.
No, Kelly's so pretty.
He was trying to date her for a minute. Ooh. Now, she might be watching this. I didn't say, I said what I heard. I know she was on the show. That was you know, the Black Woman's Bible, the Jet magazine. Oh, yes. That's the Black Woman's Bible. It would tell little stories. They had her, I think they had her dating him or something.
Well, she was so gorgeous, as was Lola Falana, who was another one who was on there. Mm-hmm. That's right. Frida has been on there.
Because a lot of people ask me, will the Supremes ever come back again?
No.
Why not?
That question has been asked. You know, Diana did her Return to Love tour in 2000, which I was part of, so was Linda. Mm-hmm. And I remember in one city, I'm trying to think, there were haters out there. Some who were mad that I was there, Linda was there, but we had nothing to do with that. I wasn't going to turn that job down. Are they crazy? But that I remember was a Thursday when Scott Sander called, who was the producer, and he asked me, he said, I'm blah, 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 and Diana wanted me to ask if he would like to join the tour, and I said, well, oh, and I'm thinking, what would I be doing? He said, well, and he said Mary and Cindy and Diana, and I thought, well, what would I be doing? Maybe I'll be a fourth voice behind the curtain or something like that. And I said, okay. Then I said, when I called back, then he called me back later on that day. I said, what about the other Supremes? He said, well, who are they? And I said, well, Jean Terrell. I was talking with Susay Green when you called me. Then there's Linda Lawrence. He said, he said, well, I really don't know them, but blah, 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 blah. And my attorney got mad after I told her my conversation. She said, what did you do that for? I said, well, why not? She said, well, that's going to split the pie more.
You were just being fair.
I was being fair. I'm thinking about my friends. Yes. So the next day he called and said, you know, I ran that idea by Diana, and she thought it was a great idea that all of you be involved. Yes. And I said, okay. I said, well, can I call them? So I called Jean, I called Linda, I called Susay. We were all excited. And so that following Tuesday, we were supposed to fly to New York to do this photo session and everything. We had gotten our outfits together, and that morning I got a call from the PR person, I think. I can't remember, but it was like 7 o'clock in the morning, or 5 o'clock in the morning. They had a huge snowstorm, and the airport was shut down. So that was maybe a sign from God or something. It wasn't going to happen, but it was right after that. They couldn't get the negotiations right with between Mary and Cindy, and he said, well, you know, the train has left the station, so it's just you and Linda. I said, okay.
There's a lot of fake groups out there.
I know. Yeah, making money when we have a hard time. Yes. Yeah, because times are changing. Our generation is passing on, and like we're more respected, I would say,
Yes.
overseas.
Oh,
In
I love it.
Japan,
Japan,
oh
oh,
my
good
goodness,
job.
Japan is
Love it.
fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, in Europe, fantastic.
Some of them can't
It's
speak
mainly here.
English, but they
yeah,
can
but
sing
they know that
know
music.
know those songs, those words.
They know that music.
After all that you've been through, Sherri, you have a new project now that you
Yes.
brought to this young man right here.
Yes.
Let's say that part again.
Young man.
This young man right here. Did you hear that? Okay, let's just work with that.
He could be my son.
Let's work with that.
That's frightening. Young man.
That's right.
Please tell
But I
us.
could be her son. She may not look like she got a son my age, but I could be her son.
He could be my son.
But I like that.
Oh,
Go
that's
ahead.
scary. Oh, I'm getting old.
This new project, can you tell us about it, please?
Oh, I'm so proud. Actually, this is the second one that Donald's doing of mine. The first one, It Always Rains on Sunday, he did 3 years ago, September 2012. And I was so proud and excited when Donald said he would agree to do one of my projects. I was so happy. But this one, A Lady in Waiting.
Okay.
It's about a woman on trial for murdering her husband. And there are only 5 cast members: Thais
Okay.
Walsh, Stephen Slates, Sade Moore, Danny DeLloyd, and Malika Blessing. And they are all fantastic. It's very, it's heavy with the dialogue, so I know it's a lot because I am a wordy person, as you can tell. I can talk. I really
That's
can
okay.
talk.
Love it.
But I'm really excited because it's a heavy piece. I think. You think it's
It
heavy?
is, yeah. It speaks to. I think people are going to. Well, what's really good? Listen, first of all, I'm not directing and producing because Sherri's a friend. I'm not. It's really a great piece of work. It's a really because people come to me all the time. Would you produce my stuff? And first of all, I don't even accept unsolicited material. I won't accept it because it just puts you in a bad position.
Legally.
There's a way to do that. But when there is a friend and says, well, can you read it at least? You know, and I read it and I said, okay, we're going to do it. It's. I think everybody when they come to see it, well, if you didn't get tickets, you won't because it's all the shows are sold out.
Sold out?
All of them are sold out. But we're thinking about extending. We will know by tomorrow. I think most likely we will extend.
Okay.
Sherri, can I get it right? Young man.
Right. That's right. I'm just as young as your engineer. I'm just as young as LeBron. He's like what, like 25?
Yeah, not even.
So it's a strong piece, and I think people are going to be not only just like pleasantly surprised, but be invested in the story because this could very well happen. I won't get into if it's. I'll let her talk about if it's based upon anything true. But it is definitely heavy enough for you to be like. And then when you think you figured some stuff out, you don't. By the end, you're like, oh, I didn't know.
Yes.
So I think that they're in for a really, really exciting night of theater. What I also like about Sherri is her writing is so non-stereotypical. It's not what you did, it's so much stuff that are fed to our communities in our writings that you say, okay, I just saw that the other night with somebody else's piece. And she stays away from that, but yet tells the truth and puts the story out there. You could take this entire cast of this show and replace it with a Caucasian family, a Hispanic family, an Asian family, and the story still stays the same. It's a universal story of love and forgiveness and all those type of things, and that's what makes the writing really good.
Okay. When will we know if you're going to go for an extension?
Well, I'm going to go on record right now to say that we are probably going to extend the very next Saturday, which is I think February the
6th, I think.
Yeah, so tickets will probably go on sale most likely by tomorrow.
Okay.
But because we have nothing, people are calling and emailing, and people are saying, can I just be on a waiting list? I said, well, the waiting list is over. The waiting list is over.
That's great.
So I'm happy that Sherri has the following that she does.
Yes.
And my support in Los Angeles, when people see that my name is on something, they say, I'm going to go. We know he didn't write this, but we know he wouldn't put his name on it. So, that's...
I have to say, Donald, this is my first time, well, not first time, but sitting in the rehearsals, and I said, wow. And his direction and he's explaining to the actors about the characters. I said, wow, Donald is an excellent director. Excellent.
Yes.
She just saying that. But she telling the truth. If I wouldn't say so myself. But I love it. I love watching it. I mean, it's easy when the work is good.
Yes.
When you have something in front of you and the script is that good, it lets me paint.
Right. How did you cast these actors? They're not well-known actors.
No.
This is different.
No, well, Stephen Slates, I actually manage him.
Picture?
I actually manage Stephen Slates.
Thank you.
I manage him. Sade, Danny Deloyd, and Malika have all worked with me before. Okay. So when I read the script, I knew that I wanted them to be, but the lead character, Thais Walsh, she's from New York, was signed by Ford Models years ago, did a lot of stuff in acting. She wanted to work with me. So when she came in to read, I knew immediately, I said, this chick is the role. This role is for her. And, you know, I think, like, once again, you're going to leave there thinking, wow, the performances were really, really good. So, and I also love exposing new talent to have an opportunity to be seen and to act in something that's really meaningful, you know. It's so much, listen, there's a lot of theater in Los Angeles. Yes. There's a lot of bad theater, too. Yeah. It really is. It really is.
Because a lot of times these people, these youngsters are coming out of school right now. They've gone to school to learn to be an actor. This is what they want to be. They see you guys as images and role models. They want to do this, but they don't understand you got to pay your dues in this business.
And some of them don't even go to school for it.
That's right.
They wake up and say, oh, I can write that. Yes, you can, but but there's a, learn structure.
Yes, sir.
Learn the structure of a script. And you know, the breakdown of characters so that people can know who you're talking about.
Sherri, we've got a few more minutes left.
Okay.
What's in the future for you, ma'am?
Well, I'm not an actress, I just have to say that. I was in Soul Cafe that Donald put on at the
Great place, Soul Cafe.
Great
place.
Yes, in December.
Thank you.
But I'm a singer first, but I love script writing. I love it. So I have so many projects after this, stage plays as well as screenplays. I have 19 screenplays that I've written, and starting on the 20th, called Back When Men Wore Hats. I'm really excited about that. And then after that, it's going to be The Glory of Young Men. And then I have a stage play I'm writing after that called Lies, Cornbread, and Pie. So I have a plethora of titles and themes I'm writing on. I'm just excited. That's what I do. And so
a lot of times when people change careers or alter careers or add to careers, they're not as good at what they're doing. Like Sherri's a great recording artist and live stage performer, but her writing is right up there with it. She didn't wake up and say, oh, I want to write today. And you get something and can't even spell the word cat. You know.
K-A-T?
Right. But when your writing is on the same level as you're performing, then you're understanding that God has given you more than one talent, so you can't hold on to that. You've got to just do more. You've got to keep telling stories and putting these, or why did God give it to you in the beginning?
And that's who gave it to me. He gave me my voice, and he gave me the idea to write. Like Kobe Bryant wants to be a storyteller when he retires. But I have you can do it on your script.
Listen, I'm need to talk with him about some stuff.
I entered one of my screenplays, my 18th one, in one of those screenplay contests. Circus Road Films, I think they're out of Sherman Oaks. But anyway, I said, let me do this, and so I made the semifinals, and it's called "The Circus Doesn't Stop Here Anymore." It's about a murder in Mississippi, a little young boy. But anyway. I'll find out if I make the grand finals by February 1st.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
Don, same question to you. What's in the future? What's in your future?
I just want to continue on the path of what I'm doing. Writing, directing, producing, doing more film. I'm supposed to be doing my 4th film in Atlanta this year. Based on a play called My Brother's Keeper, but actually the film version of it. And so, I mean, I just love creating. I'm going to do something this year that I've been talking about for the last 5 years. I'm going to go back on stage with band and do a live show, my R&B show.
right.
And I think people on the West Coast be like, okay, now he trying to sing. but people on the East Coast are like, well, that's what you've been doing. Right. So I want a full band and do a show, and I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that this year.
Hey.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
A book? Either one of y'all with a book, coming possible book?
I'm signed with Random House Publishers in New York, and I've released 2 novels, and I'm on my 3rd novel now, A Fighter's Love. But I got signed with Random House in 2006-07, and they released 2 novels on me. They released 2 novels of mine, and I have a 3rd one I'm writing now called A Fighter's Love, which is based on so I love it. And I want to write my own memoirs.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but listen.
Be funny.
Well, yeah. And
Loose cannon.
Loose cannon.
Loose cannon. Asking if his actors in rehearsals. That was a loose cannon. In fact, it was the other day, Saturday, they were rehearsing, and Donald was just letting it out. And I said, "Dang, Donald, you should. This should be a reality show. Your rehearsal."
You should read some
and
of
that's
the
when he
notes
told me
puts on
about
Facebook.
it.
I read his notes on Facebook. He put some.
But I never say anybody's
You
name.
don't use no names. You don't put a name.
Will said, "Don, you're a public figure.
Public figure, right?
Don't
Can't
say
do
no
that.
name."
Goodness.
I just have to vent sometimes. I
He does. But they all know that he loves them.
I do. I actually do.
And you can't help but love this guy.
Well,
Once
I
you get his
appreciate that.
personality,
Thank you.
Hey,
That's
good
right.
guy.
I appreciate that.
Right.
Sherri, here's my favorite question. How do you want to be remembered, ma'am?
I want to remember it as a woman who cared about others, who loved the Lord, and she did her best.
Ouch. Saying that, I bring you one of these, my dear.
Oh, wow, this is beautiful.
For the lady.
Thank you.
Oh, for the lady.
Thank you. Oh, I'm a lady in waiting.
Don, same question to you, sir. How do you want to be remembered?
As one who told the truth, lived my truth, and knew my purpose. Now, where's my flower?
You get another $silver.
Yeah, give me another $silver. You can't have 2 guests and give one of them a flower just because I'm a man. Give me a flower. Talking about, what's your truth? Giving her a flower. Even got a note with it. Yeah. Look, gave me a bottle of water. Gave her a flower. I'm good. That ain't from the heart. That's just, now you trying to make up for stuff. You went and planned this. Look, planned it, wrote little hearts and stuff, put ribbons and stuff all on it, went to the florist and gave me $1.
That's a special $silver.
You can buy a flower with
Let me go ahead and put this $silver in my pocket. You take that flower, and look, the flower even in some water. Even came with his own water.
My God, Lord help us, help us, help us.
Did you see that? Had it, got a ribbon around it and everything. Even got your name spelled right.
Spelled right too, right?
Look at that. Look at that. How you want to be remembered? I want to be remembered that I got a flower. That's how I want to be remembered.
See, you making me change my policy. I always give them, every time we have a female guest, I always give them a flower.
Well, all right.
I'll change my policy now.
Give me a corsage or something. Put up here a handkerchief or something in there.
Oh, Lord.
Give me a Pepsi on ice. Give me a Coca-Cola or something. A flower.
A final thought. Please tell everybody. Let me calm down for a minute here. Tell everybody again, where's the play at? What did it have to do?
The play is at the Missing Piece Playhouse in Burbank. It's really North Hollywood on Magnolia.
Yes.
It's January 29th, 30th, and 31st. It's sold out, all the performances, but I'm sure that we're going to probably add the next Saturday for the addition show to bring it back, extend it, Saturday night at 8 o'clock, if you bring some flowers. But if we ain't bringing no flowers, we're going to close down after that Sunday.
But they can go on www.brownpapertickets.com
Yes.
or 1-800-838-3006.
Starting tomorrow morning, if we're going to definitely extend, I think we are, they can call tomorrow.
Yes, brownpapertickets.com.
Don, you have made my day. Thank you, sir.
You didn't make mine.
Reality show. That's why Donald have a reality show.
Oh my God! Oh, Sherri, God bless you.
God
Best
bless you
wishes
too.
to you in the future.
Thank
you
you.
all for stopping
Thank you
by.
for having us.
Thank you all for
Thank
stopping
you.
by.
Thank
My
you.
goodness, thank you for stopping by.
Take your flower, Sherri. Let's
And
go.
take a young man with you, please.
I better take this water.
Yeah, that's all you got. Yes, sir.
Oh my gosh! This is Ron Brewington. Glad you could join us. See us the next time right here on An Actor's Choice. Take care now.